All right, let's get right into it. We are about to dive into one of the most high-stakes conflicts on the entire planet. Now, this is a silent war, okay? It's not fought with armies. It's fought with silicon and software. This is the battle for the tech that is absolutely going to define our future, the AI chip.
You know, every single time you ask an AI to write an email for you or, generate some wild image, you're actually tapping into this huge global network of super powerful, really specialized processors. But the real questions are, who makes them? And maybe more importantly, who controls them?
And that's because the company that controls these chips, well, they pretty much control the future of artificial intelligence. This isn't just about building faster computers anymore. No way. This is about building the literal engine of the global economy for the next 100 years.
And right now, there is one and only one undisputed king of that engine, Nvidia. For years now, they have built what honestly looks like a completely impenetrable fortress around the entire AI industry.
I mean, just look at that number. A 90% market share is it's staggering. But here's the catch. It's not just about having the fastest chip. Not at all. It's about the entire ecosystem. See, developers are trained on Nvidia's CUDA software. Data centers are built with their networking. They've created this incredible lock-in that is so difficult to escape from. And just when competitors think they're finally catching up, boom, Nvidia moves the goalposts. They've completely shifted from a 2-year release cycle to this relentless, absolutely brutal 1-year cadence. So by the time a rival builds a chip to compete with Blackwell, Nvidia's already shipping Rubin. It's a genius strategy designed to keep everyone else permanently one step behind.
So their defense isn't just one wall, it's this incredibly complex, multi-layered fortress. So first, you've got the annual cadence, right? That keeps them a generation ahead. Second, their proprietary NVLink networking. It basically forces customers to buy entire NVIDIA server racks. Third, they just absorb any potential threats by licensing key technology from smaller upstart competitors. And then finally, they monetize this entire moat with recurring software subscriptions. It's just a brilliant, airtight strategy.
But, every fortress has a challenger. And in this story, that challenger is AMD. They've launched a full-blown rebellion, and they're not trying to build a better fortress. Nope, they're offering the world a completely different way to build.
And this right here, this shows you the fundamental difference in their whole philosophy. Where Nvidia offers this closed, premium walled garden ecosystem, AMD is out there rallying the rebels with open-source software and open networking standards. Their strategy isn't lock-in, it's liberation.
And their secret weapon? It's memory. Lots and lots of memory. AMD consistently packs their chips with way more high-bandwidth memory than Nvidia does, and that gives them this huge advantage in running these massive AI models. And, well, it's working. They've already signed up some of the biggest names in tech, companies who are just desperate for an alternative to paying the, quote, Nvidia tax.
Then you've got the third major player in all this, the old legacy giant, Intel. Now, after a pretty rough few years, they've made a really smart, really pragmatic pivot. They've basically decided not to fight Nvidia and AMD head-on in this high-performance race. Instead, they're playing a completely different game.
I love this metaphor because it just perfectly captures their strategy, right? They are not trying to win the Formula One race. They're trying to power the millions of everyday devices that need good enough, cost-effective AI.
So their plan is all about finding an open lane. They're undercutting on price for data centers, they're partnering with startups to fill in the gaps, and most importantly, they're aiming to totally dominate the AI PC market. That means putting AI directly onto the laptops and desktops we all use, for much faster and more private AI experiences. But just as these battle lines were being drawn, the battlefield itself started to change. A brand new type of AI is emerging. And guess what? It has completely different needs. I'm talking about Agentic AI. So what is that? Well, unlike a chatbot that just gives you one answer, an AI agent might get a request like, hey, research the market for electric bikes and then write me a business plan. I mean, it has to perform dozens of steps and remember the context of every single one. And that requires two things, incredibly low latency for that thinking loop and just a massive amount of memory to hold all that context. And this is forcing our two main rivals to adapt. Nvidia is doubling down on pure speed. They're licensing tech from startups to build these specialized, lightning-fast chips just for agents. AMD, on the other hand, is leveraging their big memory advantage. They're arguing that holding the agent's entire thought process on a single chip is the real key to efficiency.
So, who wins? Who takes the crown? Well, the really fascinating outcome here is that it doesn't look like there's going to be just one winner. We are heading for a split kingdom, where each company dominates a completely different part of the AI world.
Because here's the secret sauce, right? When you're running millions of AI agents 24/7, the upfront cost of the chip, that's only a tiny part of the equation. The real cost is power and cooling and the sheer number of servers you need. The war has shifted from pure performance to the total cost of ownership. And this is where the memory math becomes that big aha moment. So check this out. A huge AI model just won't fit on a single Nvidia chip, so you have to split it or shard it across 8 of them. 8! But with AMD's much larger memory, that exact same model fits on just 4. 4! That means half the servers, half the power, and half the data center space. The savings are absolutely astronomical.
The numbers are they're staggering. For these big companies deploying AI at massive scale, think Meta or Microsoft, this architecture can translate to a 40 to 50% reduction in the cost to generate every single word or pixel. That's huge.
So here it is. Here's the final verdict. Nvidia will continue to win the premium enterprise market, no doubt. Companies who want a guaranteed, out-of-the-box, it-just-works solution, they're going to pay the Nvidia insurance policy. But AMD is perfectly positioned to win the mass-scale deployment war, where that total cost of ownership is the only thing that matters.
So the battlefield is set. And honestly, this competition is fantastic for the industry, but it does leave us with a pretty critical question to think about. As these two giants battle for dominance, will the result be a more open, competitive, and affordable AI future for all of us? Or will the walls of one kingdom just grow higher than they've ever been before?